Hey everyone, welcome to this year's annual CycleFitCHICKS 2022 AGM, and finally back in the flesh. It was the last time we were here in 2019, and now we're back in 2022. Super excited. The AGM will not be starting for another little while, so welcome to joining in, and we're just going to let you see what's going on. So I'll walk you guys around the room. Here is our agenda for today. All right, let's get to what everybody else is doing in the room. All right, ladies, say hi to everybody who's online. Hi, hi. All right, you guys are missing some food. Look at the food. Say hi, Marilyn. Oh yeah, those sliders look good. All right, girls, say hi to everybody online. Hi, guys, Susan. Awesome, everybody looks so gorgeous. Say hi to everybody online. Yay! Everybody looks so good. Everybody looks so gorgeous. All right, say hi to everybody who's online. There's people. Yay! Everybody back there. All right, ladies, say hi to everybody online. We got a bunch of girls watching. Yay! All your favorite riders, fellow riders. There. Don't recognize anybody, right? Your hair is so pretty. Hi. Hey. Say hi. Linda's okay. Look at her. She's fabulous. Smiling as usual. There's Moira. And Sandy's back from touring Europe. We got Jean over there.
Message me or text me with your questions and your comments.
Oh yes. So yeah, when we get started, we'll be taking down the names of everybody who's watching live, so that you can be up for some of the prizes. I don't know how we're going to do that, but we're going to be doing something. Maybe we'll do it after, and more online later. So for those who are attending online, we will have something special for you girls. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set up the camera, and then once we get started, once we get started, I'll set it up to where we're going to present either front, side, or back, but we're all just getting food right now and our drinks, so hold tight. So make sure you guys go grab something, and like Jean said, if you have questions during the presentation, put them in here, because this will be all saved, I believe, and we can address them later. All right? See you in a bit. 5 minutes to go. Oh, I know, without their students. All right, so we had some new people in. We got Sarah. Carly! Say hi to everybody online. All right, so we're going to start in 5 minutes. So if you haven't got your drink, get your food. I think we're going to stand there, talk in there. Missing everybody. I know. Well, Sarah brought her helmet. People have hair, yes, I know, and everybody's so pretty. Sarah, say hi to everybody online. Show them she brought her helmet. Oh my God, the food's almost done. Say hi! Yay. It's Wendy! Wow.
It is. I'm like, what the hell is coming at me? And now I'm just holding the camera.
Say hi to everybody online.
Hi, everybody online. I didn't just swear.
Say hi, Moira. Hello. She's controlling everything from here. Okay. Control freak. Self-possession. Ready, girls? Almost ready?
Yeah, I would just like to get a drink.
Why don't you get a drink? Yeah, you get a drink. Should you get a drink?
We can share. We can share.
Oh, yeah, go get some.
Oh, yeah. Well. go. Make sure we got everybody. Great. See all these new people popping in.
At one point, it was really weird. We had bikes on the second or third day. We had bikes that were going over the bridge. Our boat is swimming as we're going over the bridge. Like, how, like, not a nation is trying to do So, here we are. I know, right? Yeah. Okay, so there, that's fun. Okay, this is right. We were going, there was a bridge, and here's our boat coming up. So they started out. But it was like, what is the odds? Even at one point we go under the canal, and I would say an elevator down, you go down, and you had to go down this big like tunnel. Yeah, we like down the tunnel. But yeah, you go down and you go all under the canal, and then back up the elevator. That's why I said those establishments here.
Alright, gotta say hi to Tina. Hi Tina, say hi to everybody online. Hi everyone!
She smells great, everybody.
She smells great. Okay. Well, she needs some good smelling. Oh, you do smell good. It's good to see everybody. Alright. Alright, everyone, we're going to get started.
The bike's on the building. They're all hanging. Look at this. It's all bikes on the building.
Okay, so what we're going to do is welcome everybody. Did everybody say hi to everybody online? We got 10 people watching. Yay! Awesome. So what I said is we'll take their names and give them a special prize afterwards.
Well, their names can go in the draw. We'll take their names.
Okay.
We put their names in more. Yes, their names in more in the draw.
Okay, so we are going to get started because I know everybody's eager to, I don't know, something else, garden this afternoon maybe. Just adjusting.
On our path, we have the cows, and we're right there. We actually actually, one time we were on the path, and we had the horse, we had 3 horses riding next to us. They were galloping, like not on the fence, like right there on the...
Okay, I'm gonna be a teacher. Does this work? It usually works. What's the reason? You're in trouble. All right, I want to welcome everyone, and so excited to have a bunch of ladies watching online. So be good. Yeah, they can't see you yet. Now they're watching me. So thank you to everybody who's come out for the AGM this year. It was actually in 2019 we had our last AGM in this very spot. So it worked out that we were able to get this location again. Yeah, I know. Perfect down here. It works out perfect down here. Yeah. So my name is Sylvie and founder of CycleFitCHICKS. I was, as you know, kind of vacant from this summer because of the COVID restrictions. I did not get my passport. So that's why I wasn't around, but I was in the background doing the website, the registration. You probably got communications from me. I set up the Monday Night Skills as best we could with Angie and Michelle, and we got some really great feedback from that. Thank you so much and also, not to mention the ladies from the club who put themselves out and volunteered as assistant coaches, really, to those ladies. So I just want to give a big hand to those ladies. There was here, Lorraine, we had Lorraine watching, Marsha, and a couple of Allison that were around, and just really, really appreciate. And just to show us the leadership that's in. Do you want another? Want a chair? Linda. No, do you want another chair? I just see you like share the chair. I'm like, do you want to share? So just appreciate a lot of the ladies who volunteered for that, because without being there and running it myself, it was nice to have you girls step in. And you girls are leaders you're all leaders in your own right in the club. So I really, really appreciate it. And I also loved watching all the pictures of coming in on Sundays after all the group rides and all the fun pictures that you guys put together. There's really, you guys look so good. I just like, oh my God, you girls look so good. Your kids and everything. Everybody got make people smile. They do. Yes. It makes people smile. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Or flip us the burden on the Just as long as you get the bird back, right? I always think it was encouraging. Yeah, so my summer was a little different. As you know, that I wasn't there. I've been there for 13 years. Every Monday, every Saturday, doing group rides. And it was kind of, I would say, relieving in a little sense at the beginning. I'm like, oh my God, I got my summer. And I was able to ride mountain bikes with my kids, which I've never been able to do that. And now they're getting older. And do some other group rides. And I discovered mountain biking again and the gravel thing, which we all know everybody's like looking at. And I just, but at the end of the summer, I started feeling pretty lonely. And I'm like, at first I'm like, yeah, I can ride whenever I want, And then at the end of the summer, when I, just watching everybody join up, I felt the absence of a lot of your faces. I'm going to cry. Because, this club has filled my life for so long. Some of you ladies have been here for a lot longer. A lot of you are new. And I hope that you feel the same way about what you've gotten out of the club this summer, like the friendships you made, the trips you've probably been on with some of them, the trips that are going to come up. So I hope that has been this club to you, and you found that within it, and you come back for year after year to grow as a cyclist, to grow as a woman, to grow, all together. So without that, cry here, we have some amazing information to share with you. As you know, this is the AGM you guys put out. You took the moment, a couple minutes to fill in the questionnaire, the survey that we send out every year. Thanks to Blaze for putting that together or revamping it. We got some great information that we're going to share with you. We have some awards, we have some prizes. So make sure you have your red ticket and you put that somewhere. I think we're going to draw prizes throughout, or maybe we'll save it to the end. But we have some things to give away. And so we're going to start with Jean, who's going to come up here. I guess she's going to talk about the finances, and we're going to say hi to Angie. Angie's out there. And kudos to Angie for being, taking care of the finances and taking care of me, taking care of the finances. If anybody has a business, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So here's Jean Ranney, and she is the group ride coordinator, and I'm sure everybody's met her at one point in time. Before we get into all of this, I just wanted to thank our board. It's our exec, it's our volunteers, the ladies who make this club run. And as you know, if we didn't have them here, this club would not run as efficiently and effectively and marvelously as it does. And that's like Sandy over there. Volunteer we have Angie, who's online, and we have Blaze, who's new to the member, and Mara over there. All in fact, all in the slide. Oh, it is? Okay, well, we can just skip that slide then. Yeah, it's like to skip. Yeah. All right, so now I'm going to go and man the slides.
Okay, so I'm actually not the treasurer. Okay, just saying that. And saying hi to Angie on Facebook, because she has done an amazing job coaching me in this, because she actually has COVID. And quite seriously, and just cannot come. So I just wanted to put this up. There are a couple of things, and Angie's watching, so I have to be really careful that I say everything that she told me to say. So we put a little graph up of the CFC financials. Okay, I will say that the club is very healthy. So our revenue from the club essentially comes from memberships. Okay, and so then over the course of the summer and the year, we disperse parts of that membership. So you can see the pieces that there are. You can see that the jerseys are a significant piece of your membership fee. We know there's a lot of discussion around that, and we'll get to that. And there's a coaching envelope for Sylvie, who set up all the coaching and so on, and the Monday night skills, paying Angela and Michelle to do the Monday night skills. And this year, the ladies in the club that were on call, if you like, for the Monday night skills, Lorraine, Jennifer, Linda, Allison, a few other people, we actually wanted to honor their time, and so we paid them to be there. Just because it's an additional piece, it's on a Monday night, and so on and so on. But you can take a look, insurance, liability. This year, we bought new buffs, and I put a little star beside that on the in the list, because it looks like a large percentage, but it's enough buffs to last us for about 4 years. When you order them, you can't order 150, you have to order 500. So that's why I put the little star there. I put the star beside the gravel event. Sylvie organized a great gravel event up at Wakefield, and it looks like it takes part of the budget, but actually that reflects the expenses, but we actually broke even on it. In other words, this just reflects what we spent money on. The other coaching envelope was for the Learn to Rides, because Angela did all the Learn to Rides for us this year and did a great job. FQSC, that's the cycling association that we belong to Quebec. And then miscellaneous, that includes things like this, the social. It includes the marketing and administration. It includes postage, all those smallish things. So all that to say, there are a couple of things I wanted to point out. First of all, We are nicely in the black. We have a healthy balance. We will have, Angie is predicting, unless we go totally crazy. We'll have a healthy balance in our account for starting up for next January. The financial year goes January to January. One of the things I do want to recognize that we haven't had really a chance to recognize in public, I think we did mention it perhaps at the April online social, but is that Joelle Hall, who is a member and a cycling friend of ours, her company, Richardson Hall, has donated to us $3,000 as a sponsor. And we are going to discuss that a little later because I think it's totally appropriate that we as an executive not necessarily decide, that Joelle and a group of other members, they decide how they think that money, where they think that money should be spent. Because we'd like it to be spent on the members right now. We don't want to put it in the bank and collect 0.5% of interest for 10 years or something like that. So that will be a conversation that will be coming up. Okay? So that's it for the financials. So Sylvie, do you want to just... Okay, so here are our board members. Okay? We've been introduced. You know us all. So the next one too, Sylvie. Okay? We do want to welcome Blaze onto the board. She volunteered to do the survey and did a wonderful job. And we're very excited to have her on the board. And I guess I'll take the opportunity. We'll talk about it a little bit later. All of us on the board are very, very familiar faces to all of you. We have been on the board for quite some time. And we are very enthusiastic, as you know, but we also recognize that we need renewal on the board. Okay? We need a little wider membership, and we're going to talk about some ways that could happen. But, some ways that we hope everybody could get involved, perhaps in a smaller way than being on the board, but we are still looking for at least 2 more members to join the board for us. Angie has asked to transition off as treasurer. That does not mean that if you came onto the board, you'd automatically have to be treasurer because, when people leave the board, we have a discussion about what people would like to do on the board. So, and Sandy also has asked to transition off because she wants to go traveling. Imagine. And Sandy has been on the board and been our volunteer coordinator for quite some time. And so we are looking for at least 2 more members of the board. So please keep it in mind. There's a little, if you go ahead, Sylvie, there's a little. So I do not want to scare anyone. Okay, I don't. But I want you to understand why perhaps the people on the board are feeling like we need a little bit of assistance and renewal. Okay? This is just to give you an idea. Like I said, I don't want to scare you. We have actually met more because of the pandemic and all the challenges that it presented. We met much, much more in the last 3 years than we did in the 3 years before. Let me just say that. Okay? Just because, things were changing so quickly and we were trying to figure out ways, how can we do this, how can we do that? So we're hoping, we know that we're going into a time where there might be flu and another variation and so on, but we're hoping that next season we'll be able to cycle much as we did this season. Okay? So that it'll be less onerous in terms of planning. So I just put this together just as a very general, and these are maximums. So this is just in case you're wondering what we do. So in the off season, from November to March, we probably meet every 4 to 6 weeks. I would say, on the average for about an hour and a half. And we've been meeting on Zoom, which has turned out to be a good thing because we used to meet in person and it was fun. It was great. But, everybody had to come from everywhere. So, one of the things we do over this off season is we look at the bylaws, we look at the activities, okay, and we will look at the feedback from the survey. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how I've got little stars beside these because I'm going to talk a little bit later about how we might do that. We approve the final budget for the season and we start planning for the upcoming season. So we create a draft budget, we start thinking about the activities and what we might want to do. We negotiate a contract with Sylvie because she is actually a third-party provider to CycleFitCHICKS because CycleFitCHICKS is a nonprofit. Okay, so Sylvie is contracted to CycleFitCHICKS to do what she does, the coaching, the admin, and so on. And then to confirm sponsors for next season. That's what we do in the off season. So Sylvie, do you want to go ahead? Pre-season, which is April and early May. Again, we meet a little more frequently just as the season starts, just to do the final planning and to plan for the spring social, to get in touch with the group ride leaders, and to set up the Learn to Ride and Skills Night. And then in the cycling season, like I'm saying 1.5 every 4 to 6 weeks, but actually it's probably not that much because once we're riding and everything is in place. And so we make a few updates. We organize the July Challenge and the social. We start planning for the fall social in September. And then we put together a survey. So that's what we do in the cycling season. So then the next one, Sylvie. So these are specific, okay? Just in case you were wondering what we all do in our roles. I know this is really boring, but I feel like, we need to explain a little bit. So Sylvie is the coach and the co-founder, and so we contract her to provide administrative and program services as per the contract that we negotiate with her. And she gives us input and assistance. Sylvie's at every board meeting, and we're all at every board meeting. There is a vice president. As it stands right now, I actually have the double role of vice president and group ride coordinator. I would, really like to just have one of those roles, preferably the vice president role just for now, for another year, and then I'll transition off because we want to really do some renewals. So you can see what the vice president does. Sorry, Sylvie, go ahead. Yeah. And the group ride coordinator. This sounds really big, and I know people are thinking, I'm not going to do that. But people say that to me, and I say, the truth is, it's actually pretty much all in place. Unless we make any major changes, and we have some very great suggestions about tweaks that we can make to the group ride program. But, so in the off season, I update the documents. Sometimes all I do is I change the year, 2022 to 2023. I organize a group ride program, and I discuss it with all the other board members. And then in the season, I connect with the group ride leaders. Okay, and it sounds like a big job, and I'll get to this when I start talking about the group ride program, is getting group ride leaders every week, but it's actually not a big job. Because I just put out that announcement on Facebook, and the group ride leaders are so great. I hardly ever have to beg. Hardly ever. And I do the presentation about what the group ride program is looking at the social, and I'm going to do a summary today. And I keep track of the volunteer hours, and then I give that list to the treasurer, Angie, because the group ride leaders, if you put 10 hours of volunteer work in as a group ride leader or a co-leader, then you get a $50 rebate. Okay, and I work with the board and do whatever else is necessary. So, next one, Sylvie. Treasurer does what a treasurer does. Okay, Angie's there thinking, "Are you kidding me?" She's worked really hard on this, but she takes care of the finances. We do not have an enormous budget. This year we took in revenue just from memberships about $32,000. Okay. And immediately, you saw the pie graph, immediately about 40% of that goes off to pay for the jerseys. So, we're not talking about large sums of money here. So, although, we want to make sure that we have a little slush fund at the end of every year. We don't want to spend everything because we do have expenses starting right up in January. Secretary does what a secretary does, takes note, prepares the agenda, and so on and so on. And Blaze has done a great job the last few weeks doing that for us in the interim. I don't know whether she'll continue to do that. So on to the next, Sylvie. Sandy's been our volunteer coordinator for as long as I can remember. And she solicits volunteers. And I don't know if she wants to say that's a challenge. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. And she keeps track of the volunteer hours and then lends a hand wherever. So, and then we want to have 2 members at large, and that's just an extra pair of hands, in case something comes up or we need assistance with something. and we would like new voices. That's what we would like. We are welcoming new voices. Okay, so on to the next one, Sylvie. So I guess I'll go right into talking about our group ride seasons. So we actually offered 131 group rides this year. You can look at the bottom and see. I left the 2021 statistics in the bottom there so you can contrast. We had a much shorter season last year because of COVID. But so this year we started up pretty much as usual, and I think we actually went a week longer because we were having so much fun. 131 group rides with 34 group ride leaders. Now, if you look at 2021, we had 83 group rides and 33 group ride leaders. So we need to give a big hand to our group ride leaders because I'm going to talk about them in just a minute because they have offered some amazing rides. And so just in group ride leaders, that was 741 volunteer hours given to the club. And there's that's a little word cloud, so it shows you the larger your name is, the more group rides you led or co-led.
Where's your name?
Okay, my name's not there.
You did some, but you did some. Yeah, but you did some. You did a lot.
I'm the group ride coordinator, but this is just to say to you that, we have some very dedicated group ride leaders, and I want to thank them enormously because when I have to ask, there's always someone. So it's just been great. So Sylvie, do you want to go to the next one? So we had 1,062 participants in group rides. Now there's a little star, like that's not 1,062 different ones, right? But that's a total of 1,062 people that participated in our group rides, which is more than double if you look at the bottom. It was 485 last year. Shorter season, true, but I think we've had a super successful group ride season this season. So we had 48 different start locations. Last year we had 35. And we rode in group rides, like I went through all the distances for every group ride. So it came up to 7,059 was what we offered. Now, obviously, many of you rode many, many more kilometers than that. But just in the CycleFitCHICKS official group rides. Wow. And that doesn't even include the extra events like we had, the gravel events and so on and so on. They are recorded in the group ride schedule, but because they weren't official CycleFitCHICKS events, I didn't count them. So if you look at the start locations per ride, I know you people in the East will notice something very, very soon. Let me just say, I want to say a couple of things. First of all, when I looked at the locations for me, and I decided that Central was from the Rockcliffe Pavilion, okay, by the Rideau River, to Tunney's Pasture. I considered that to be central because it's fairly central, in both directions. So anything east of that and anything west of that, and south, I considered Hogs Back to be south, but not Dow's Lake. I considered Dow's Lake to be central. Like, these are totally random, But that's just,
but it's good
that's
to
just
good
me.
to
That's just me.
clarify that.
Gene's geography. Gene's geography. So, you will notice that our west and far west locations were way more. And I will say, though, that when I look at the group ride leader list, and then maybe this is just a coincidence, many, many group ride leaders live west or far west. So, and that's not to say, but the thing is, as a group ride leader, and I'll speak for myself, often when I start leading a group ride or the season starts, I ride places that I ride, and it's the same. So I guess what I would say to those of you that live in the East or the North or the South, we need you to be a group ride leader because, I would love to discover some beautiful rides in the East, and I think it's fair that I who live in the West, some Saturdays it's me that drives across town, instead of you always from the East. So we are very, very aware of it, okay? And I just want you to know that. That being said, I think we are doing a little better with the east and the far east. And of course, our far west is a little bit of a monopoly. I don't know whether Bev has signed in on Facebook or not. I counted, and anybody that lives, I counted anything west of Canada as far west. So that includes all the carp rides and so on. But still, when you have a group ride leader like Bev, who has such great routes out Almont Way, and who's led 12 or 14 rides, so didn't seem to have any trouble getting people to go and join her on her rides. The interesting thing is that we actually, had a fewer rides north, that is on the other side of the river, anything on the other side of the river, like going up to Wakefield and Gatineau this year than we have had in the past. We've really increased our east, and we've really increased our south. Look, we started with 23 south, right? And last year we had 17. So those are just examples of the start locations. So I did want to say, when I say that, I didn't put it up on the slide, but these are things for us to think about as an organization. So I counted 125 different members participated in at least one group ride. So we have 152 members, and 125 participated in at least one group ride. However, 60 of our members participated in 5 rides or less. And of those, 12 only participated in 1 ride. So that, as a group ride coordinator, that sends me a little message about, okay, what do we need to do, not only to get people to come out, but to get people to come out. So those are conversations to be had. We had 28 members that did 6 to 10 rides, 20 members that did 11 to 15 rides, 9 members that did 16 to 20 rides, and 8 members that did more than 21 rides. Congratulations to those 8 members. You must be in fabulous shape. And I think the next one's okay, just quickly.
Friday was my number one.
And again, we're gonna talk about this. We had tons and tons of suggestions and ideas, but if you take a look at the participants in the rides, and again, this could be repeat participants and so on, right? So it looks like the Friday open ride turned out to be one of the most popular. That was a very steady group. Once people started coming, they just kept coming on Fridays. So, and if you look at the touring 1 and the touring 2, and then starting in July, just about every ride was a combined touring 1 and 2. That had everything to do with not being able to get enough group ride leaders. Okay? And so, those touring 1 and 2 group ride leaders, I really hope that if there's an opportunity, and I think Blaze is going to facilitate a conversation with all the group ride leaders at some point, not today, but on Zoom or whatever, because we need to think about that, because was that really appropriate right away to mix touring 1 and 2? And is that perhaps, because when I looked at the 10 members that had only done 1 ride, to be truthful, I didn't recognize any of their names. So these were people who came out for 1 ride, perhaps new members, and for some reason didn't come back. Now, in a couple of cases, I know that there were injuries and, things like that came up, but it's something to think about. The Sunday open ride, that was fairly popular, but as soon as Linda Ludlow went on vacation.
What can I say?
Yeah. So we had to cancel 4 of those rides, and 3 of the 4 cancellations were because we couldn't get a group ride leader. Okay, so that is not to put a burden of guilt on Linda, but it's just to point out that it was a real coincidence that once she left, nobody wanted to ride on Sunday anymore. So if you take a look, Sportive 3 was another big one. We often had very big groups for Sportive 3. Sportive 4 started off super strong with quite a few people, and I was really gratified to see that some of our Sportive 3s from last year joined Sportive 4. But then it kind of waned as the summer went on, and people go on vacation and things like that. So then we started in August and September. Well, we had one combined Sportive 3 and 4, and I think that was a ride that Karen and maybe Maura did. I can't remember. And then we started combining it with Sportive 5. So the combined Sportive 4 and 5 for the whole season was 35, and only 23. So we're talking about May till the end of September here in terms of these numbers. So, as we reevaluate the group ride program, we need to really think about these things. And I know we have a lot of our Sportive 4 and 5 ladies here, been very, very dedicated, and so we'd really like to hear about you. Like, how are we going to, because we do have people, and you know who you are, sitting in Sportive 3 who are quite capable of riding at the 4 level. So, how do we encourage those ladies to do that? That's the question. Sylvie, the next one. Okay, I guess I'm doing this. So we had an issue with data, and we are really sorry. We don't have the final statistics for today. Poor Janice is at home trying to, if you can imagine, we have way more rides and way more kilometers. Add in the indoor cycling. And I think Janice is at home going crazy with the data because we haven't heard from her. She knew that we should gave up today. So we're going to just go ahead. Okay? Yeah, go ahead, Sylvie, because we don't have them. We will post them on Facebook. Just keep going. We did have 38 metric century riders, including 5 200-kilometer riders. One of them is right here. Go ahead, Sylvie. So these are our metric century people, and that includes the ones with the little stars are the ones that did 200 kilometers, so a double metric century. And I am missing a name because I missed it when I went back and looked in Strava, because I looked a lot at our group rides, and then I kind of double checked with Strava, but I actually missed Marcia Ellis because of course she did 130-some kilometers in Newfoundland. And so I went in before I got here and tried to add it, and it wouldn't let me change it. So I apologize for that. But that's amazing. 38 metric century riders. That's really a great season. So, okay, Sylvie, next one. Am I missing you, Melanie? I'm sorry. We'll give Melanie a hand in person. And Mary. Sorry. Yes, I know, and I thought I got all of you from Joelle's list. The thing is, if just to justify myself, the thing is, if the list of participants wasn't complete in Facebook, and I just copy and paste it into the group ride leader document, then I don't have a record if it's not complete or if it gets cut off or something like that. So my apologies. So all of you ladies deserve, so it's actually probably about 42 or 43.
The ones in the room, please stand up.
Yeah. If you're in the room and you did your metric century, why don't you stand up? Yeah. There you go. And my apologies for those that I missed. When I put this all out on Facebook, I'll change it. Okay, so the next one. Okay, we don't have the total Strava kilometers. We do have the longest Strava ride. We'll talk about that in a moment. And we do have those the names of those who participated in the most group rides. And we're going to do draws for those in just a moment. So do you want to go on, Sylvie? Okay, keep going because we don't have the total. Okay, longest Strava ride. Here they are, our 5 stars. Leanne, Joanne, and Chantal Saint-Onge, who was a member, but she was on a bit of a mission doing another special kind of a ride, and so we didn't see a ton of her, but on Strava she's done 173. Pam did 136 solo. And Marsha with 126. So we have a draw. You got it there, Sandy? Sure.
Hey, just 169.
Imperial Century,
Okay.
as it's calling. Which is the
What we've done is we put all of those ladies. Nadia, we'll catch up with you later. We put all of those in an envelope, and we've got $50 in gift certificates for Eurosports. Okay, because we figured, and correct us if we're wrong, but we figured we couldn't pick a winner from Leanne, Bev, Catherine, Angie, and Maya. Right? We figured you were a team, and so you wouldn't want us to select one. So do you want to pick Anne? Just. Pam. Woo! Okay, so I don't remember what the next slide is. But we'll look at it. Oh, okay. Participation. So this is those that participated in the most group rides over the season. And Blaze is the most. I
would have beat you. I would have beat her if I'd stayed. You could be number 2 if you were yesterday's rival.
Tell that to your husband the next time you want to go somewhere. So we have for Blaze a gift certificate, one to Fresh Air and one to Rose. I do want to say I'm missing a certificate in here, Sandy. I need 2 25s. Oh no, I know what it is. No, you're going to choose. We're going to choose. So I do want to say, because those of you that actually have to work for a living, you might notice the preponderance of retired women. Yeah.
He is not retired.
And I want you to know that we are aware of that. And we are going to make adjustments for next year. So, having said that,
Is that ageism?
I think we're going to have 2 parallel categories. I think. But I do want to say that there are a couple of ladies on here that actually do work full time, and what they did was they organized their schedules so they had every Friday off in the summer. So, I guess where there's a will, there's a way. Okay? I have a star beside Linda Beeler's name and Jennifer Martin's name, and here's why. Because we have a couple of Lindas in our club, and we have multiple Jens, Jennifers, and so on. And sometimes when the group ride leader recognizes them, and I just copy and paste, way back in June, they don't put the last name. They put Jen, or they put Jennifer, or they what. And so I kind of had to, go by what I remembered and who I thought. So if you Jens and Jennifers feel like just a minute, like it should be me on the list, and if Jennifer Martin is thinking, I didn't do 20 rides. But she came and helped with the Monday night skills. So, and the same with Linda. You can discuss it with Linda.
She was a lot of the rights I was on, for sure.
Yeah. And sometimes that was actually easy, because if it said name, Linda, name, Linda, then I thought, okay, both Lindas. But if it was just one Jen or Jennifer or whatever, there was really no way of knowing. So we are going to have a draw among those 10 names, and you can go over and pick something. We've got a little bit of swag on the table there, a few little things. You can pick something. So Maya, I'll get you to put your hand in and pick one name.
Karen Peach.
Karen Popow. Karen's not here. Okay, we're going to, I'll be in touch with her.
No, she's there too.
Okay.
KK.
So what is your name now? I guess, you're on the list at the end.
What's your name?
I'm just having a moment. Okay, Sylvie, we'll go on to the next one. Oh, okay, Sandy's got to come up and talk about volunteers. While she's doing that, I do want to recognize, just while you're here, all of the group ride leaders. So if you led a ride or co-led a ride, how about you stand up? If you led a ride or co-led a ride, stand up. Thank you very much. Okay, Sandy's going to talk about volunteers. I'll be back.
Yeah, like it's going to take me 2 minutes. I'm not taking up that much time. Okay, you saw from what Jean was talking about, the executive, the group ride leaders, our socials, and different events over the year. It all depends upon volunteers doing it. Our group ride leaders are not paid. Our volunteers are not paid. It's only our coaches and Sylvie who receive some remuneration from us. So it's really, really incredibly important that our ladies step up and take on jobs either on the executive or helping to support the social activities of the club or leading group rides. Those are so key. And it was a little bit surprising. Do you want to go forward one slide?
Yeah.
It was a little bit surprising when we looked at the numbers this year compared to last year, when we looked at how many people led group rides and then also did some volunteer work for the club, and that was 44. And when you have 150 people, it's not even a third. So I was a little bit surprised at that. Last year the number was higher, and that's because we had the time trial, and our time trial always brought out at least 20 people to volunteer. This year we tried the gravel event, and we only had 9 volunteers. But what I would say to you and underscore and highlight in yellow or whatever you want to do is next season, if you think you can offer something to the club, and I know all of you can, please step forward and offer your name to whoever is the volunteer coordinator. I've been doing this, I actually can't even remember how many years I've been on the executive. This is a really bad thing, but that must be the aging thing. But I know it's been at least 4 or 5 years, and it's time for some really good, new, fresh ideas to take over that volunteer position. To be able to rally people to step forward, to have new ideas of how we can employ people in the club so that we can keep this club as vibrant and flexible and reactive to people's needs as we can. It all depends upon us, on what the quality of this club will be. So I ask you to think about that. If there's a big way or a small way or a medium way that you can help us out, please do. And if you do step forward and take the role that I believe you will enjoy being on the executive, the women who all step forward to work on the executive are all fabulous, and you will become friends with the people on the executive. So thank you very much.
Sorry, I had another related to the group ride program, an important one that I forgot. So, and that was we had 2 group ride leaders that led an enormous number of rides this year. One of them is on Facebook, and one of them is sitting right here. And so Anne and Lorraine each led, I think it was around 20 rides. I added them all up. I don't have to be. So we have a little token of our and what we did was we put anybody that led or co-led a ride. I've got your name in here. And we got 2 gift certificates for Fresh Air Experience. So here's one. So who's going to pick one? Joelle, here. We have to refer to Joelle a lot because she lives in the East End. So Joelle a lot. And then close to the second. And Martha. That's it for the group ride leaders, but thank you. Okay. Martha, yeah. Okay, what's next? Oh, it's you, Blaze. Okay. Yay! All right.
Take a few moments to describe the results from the survey that probably many of you here did. I want to thank everybody who participated. It was great. We had a really, really good response. Out of, well, we're roughly 150 members, and we had half of our membership respond to the survey. So that gave us a whack of information that was great. And it allows us to use that information to make decisions and really do some thinking. So thank you very much for that. There were 2 types of questions. You might remember there were qualitative questions or short answer where you could just type away and say what you really thought, and a lot of people did that, and that was great. We also had shorter questions, satisfaction scales. So I'll start first. I'm going to go to the next. I'll just describe who responded. So the group that responded, there's roughly 73, and there's going to be different numbers of people responding to each question because there was no, people were allowed to respond to as much as they want. So in this case, and I'll tell you how many, this is 73 people, and we had a really good distribution across the 2 groups there. Lots of first year people, some second year people, and a healthy group of people who were 3+ years. So next. Next slide. This was a question about overall satisfaction, and you can see out of 77 people, that's a pretty darn happy group. So 90% of people responding were either very satisfied or satisfied. So that's 69 people out of the 77. So that makes the board feel very happy. I'm very new to the board, but for the board members who have been so busy and for 5 years, that's a really nice response. And then the next slide. Yep. And then will you join next year? So 70 responses here, 71, sorry, and 64 of the 71 will join next year, so it's 90%. So again, very good. So then after those sort of new demographic type questions, we looked at 3 areas of programming with the satisfaction scales. So this is, you can see that pretty well. This is a screenshot directly from the survey platform, so I couldn't really adjust it in any way to make it more clear. But what you're seeing is 77 responses looking at the group rides and those components of the group rides. So the overall experience, the information, the routes chosen, speed and distance, as well as start location. So we've got, again, 90% of people saying that they're satisfied or very satisfied. So that's really nice. Our group ride leaders should feel very proud of that, I think. There's further insights into group rides in the qualitative data, which I'll talk about in a second. And then the next next one is the learned group ride session. So here we have not as many responses, only 30, because obviously only our beginning riders would have been taking a learned group ride, so it's only relevant for them. So ignore that turquoise bar at the end of each grouping, because those are the NA responses. And you can see here that still it's a good response. That's a smaller response, but it's a good response. People are generally satisfied, very satisfied. And you can see a real emphasis on the safety. People were very happy with that. The last cluster data on the right-hand side. So that was really good. Then on to Monday night skills, which was the third program aspect we looked at. So again, less respondents here. We had 34 to 40 people responding, which actually isn't bad. I'm not sure how many people were actively always going to the skills nights. In this case, you can see that the coaching received the highest rating, so that's kudos to Angela and Michelle for the really great work they did. We received quite a lot of commentary in the written responses, so I'll get to those in a minute. There were, you can see a little bit, it's always interesting when the rating scales reflect what's said in the written responses. So there were a few areas people were concerned about the location, but overall relatively happy. And then in communication, there were a few challenges in communication. So we'll go on to the qualitative pieces. So first with the group rides, you can see happy, like really happy cyclists. That's so nice. And I had like 8 or 9 pages of people writing about how much they love the group ride. So it was really, I've looked at a lot of qualitative data and I've never received so much nice. It's really nice to me. There's positive environment, good routes, good company, great chatting, increasing challenge, like it's like this big, everyone loved each other. So that was great. So now that said, we did get also in the written responses some also really nicely written, not in a critical way, but we love the group rides, but we need to try this or try that. So the first point there, developing more group ride leaders, we've already heard this from Jean. And everything kind of hinges on developing more group ride leaders. If there are concerns about locations, it's because we don't have enough group ride leaders or we don't have enough in the east, so having these locations are critical. There was keeping speed in check. In a couple of cases, there was a bit of a theme there where the speed of the ride was perhaps a bit faster than what had been advertised. And then support to move up. We had, this mostly came from the SP3 group, which was a large group this year, and many were thinking they'd like to move up, but there was a bit of fear. So we received a lot of really nice comments from riders about these are some things you can do. You could implement a buddy system, different ideas, but these are the things you could do to start to shift people up with faster. So that was very helpful. And then the next slide. And then Monday night skills, generally positive. The riders there, particularly our first few riders, were generally positive. Very amazed with the coaching, like really excellent coaching again from Michelle and Angela. Where we had some challenges with the Monday night skills were around communication. Sometimes people were unclear that, well, who is skills targeting? Is it only our beginning riders, or is it our riders who are more experienced, or is it both? So there was confusion about the target of the program, and then timing and location. We received a really clear, like there was a good chunk of comments about Monday night doesn't work. We need to change Monday night. We need to think differently about how we do this. So in looking at the data several times, it makes us realize we need a bit of a rethink on skills, and it's something that the board is aware of. So they're really helpful and thoughtful commentary from people. So that was really good. And then the Learn to Group Ride. Group is the last one. And again, super coaching, that was great. And those who participated in the Learn to Group Ride, those were our newer riders, really saw the value in the skills that were taught. And obviously they learned their skills and come up from on the ride, so that was really good. And in terms of next steps, you've already heard Jean mention the subcommittee approach, and I'll let Jean sort of take over here. Because of the richness of the information that we received from you, the time people took to outline for us in detail, here's some ideas, or here's what you should do. Because we have this great data, we want to use it now, and we're thinking the best way to use it is the possibly structure that Jean is describing. So, but are there any questions about the survey? Nope.
Are we going to follow up with those members who came out to 2 rides, didn't come back? So is there any way of tracking whether, we don't have a way of tracking because the survey is done anonymously, but we might capture by reaching out to the handful of people who come out to one of them. It's the person who comes to 1 ride that actually upsets me the most because it's like, oh, what did we do? What did I do? I'm very nervous for that. Seriously, thinking, how do we reach out to those people? Because that is the rich feedback that we need. Because those people didn't answer your survey.
No.
They wouldn't have answered your survey unless they walked away from us. So how do we figure out what we did wrong to prevent it from happening again?
I mean, I actually know one of them. She's one of my neighbors, and her life changed when her dog moved to Toronto.
And these things are,
That happens. Sometimes life gets in the way. I don't know that we can reach them through a survey like this.
We could reach them. We do have our ordinance though, and members, and just say, hey, we noticed you didn't come out much, and we wanted to reach out to see if you had any feedback for us as a club.
We could, Wendy. I think we want to be. I think that's a really good idea. We know. We probably do know the people that are not.
We know the names. We know because when I went through and I looked.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not people that didn't come out at all.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole different thing as well.
It might be worth asking them too. What
Yeah.
they come out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like comparing the membership list to the group ride people's list. Yeah.
Is that what people take just a few times? Once is the people that
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is a little heartbreaking when you think about that, because it's clearly someone who values cycling and physical activity, and something's gone wrong, and we would like to change why.
And we want to encourage them to come back just in case they did just get off.
Yeah. So actually, on that note, I brought the box of that red box has probably about 15 to 18 jerseys in it of people that haven't picked them up, despite me, contacting them. So I'll put it on another table, and as you're leaving, if you want to just take a look, if it's a neighbor or someone that you know or a friend, and you could take their jersey to them. I mean, I've been emailing them. The last time I messaged all of them just last week, and I've heard back from like 3 people. So, it's a shame because, they're jerseys, so that's a whole other thing. So, to build on what Blaze was talking about, this is, we have things that we're already planning. We want to keep the Facebook page active throughout the winter and early spring. We'd like to offer the regular indoor ride experiences over the fall and winter that we've done as an extension, and we're hoping that a few of you will, as you have in the past, volunteer to set up rides. I messaged Bev and said, oh, I'm starting to think about the indoor cycling and getting it organized. And she messaged me back, yeah, me too. And that was it. I don't know what Bev, if you're there, I don't know what the message was. Like, was it, I'm thinking about it too, but I'm not interested in organizing it. So I may reach out to some of you that have done it the last couple of years.
Me just asking another question. Would it be okay if we send out a bit of a survey to the clubs to see what days and times of days people are people interested in the lunchtimes with drive, for instance? Like, I can do that more. I can get on my bike and do that.
Yeah.
So what would people be interested in?
I would think that I think the first thing to do maybe you can make connections here today, is to get a core group of 3 or 4 of you that that, you know, have done it in the past or would be willing to do it. And I'm not saying that Bev doesn't want to be included, not at all. But you know, she probably does. But then you can, one person post it and say, okay, we're getting set up for the fall and we like your input. Okay, and then do that.
My other question would be, some clubs that I know that do sort of indoor stuff open up their membership wide to the winter rides. Are anybody can do it, and that's a way to pull new members.
And that's what we've done the past 2 years. Yeah. So we will open up the club. So if you have friends and acquaintances, or you know that you think might be interested, we open up, for those of you that are new, we open up a Facebook page to people that are just interested, and they have the opportunity to join, you know, the indoor Zwift rides and to see what's happening on the Facebook page and so on. And yeah, we'll be doing that again, because I'm sure we've got a few members, you know, who continued on, or friends of friends, and so on and so on. So we will be in touch with you about that. But if someone wants to take the lead on that, that would be great. And maybe you can get in touch with Beth. Maybe she's just tired of me getting in touch with her because she knows its needs.
Do we know how many people were taking part? Like, I think there was a good active group last year.
Oh, I think so. Like, I don't know, Anne, you did quite a few, and
Sunday party.
How many of us Zwift last year?
Friday.
How many would Zwift this year as well?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Carly,
For all the non-Westerners, so I still like my area, but indoor, but I just don't my jam. I don't think so, like, if there are any women who like backbite or want to be outside in the winter, like, it's such an awesome experience. I'm kind of hooked, I'm like, but, you know, it's not everybody's into Zwift thing, there are ladies that like backbite.
yeah.
So, just saying.
Well, so, yeah, on that note, yeah. So on that note, we just want a couple of things that are related to that. So Carly's brought up a good point. That's why we keep the Facebook page active. So if Carly's going out fat biking and she's looking for company, or she feels like company, she can post it and all of that. And if you know, if you're hiking, if you're skating, if you're doing whatever. The NCC pass. Okay, so there is a new, very keen, by the rules person in the NCC position that gives you the discount code. And we contacted her, and she got back to us and said, well, you didn't have 25 people that took advantage of the discount last year. You only had 13, and the rule is 25, so no. So, but just a second, that was just her first, so I will be calling her. But it would be very nice, like, I don't know, I'm thinking of calling her and saying, look, if we can get a commitment, like if I can give you the names of 25 people, and that includes your spouses, okay, your partners and spouses. They don't have to be women necessarily. I had very good friends of mine that skied last year, and I said to them, hop on. So if we can, it may come to that. If I have to say to her, look, I've got 25 names right here, I can send them to you, and you can check them off on your list. Yeah. So right now, the NCC pass is on hold, but we just got that message late this week. And so I'll be calling her and, kind of begging. But just, because the thing is, like, once you don't get the discount, how do you get the discount back? So,
and those
anyway.
of you who snowshoe, that's included in your pass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not just skates, cross country,
So there's two passes you could get. One is ski, snowshoe, fat bike, and the other one's just snowshoe, fat bike.
Yeah.
So at least there's two options.
Exactly.
That's true.
So, you'll have to go on the website and look, because it gives us, is it a 20% discount or 20%? I can't remember.
But it's like $175, something like that.
Yeah, it's
regular
a
price.
Regular price. Discount. Now, I will say this while we're here.
Something like that.
If we can't convince her, I know that in the past, if you belong to MEC, you can go to the customer service at MEC, and they'll give you the code. Okay, I've done that in the past.
I've got a new key in there.
You know, I think she's doing her job, but I think, you know, and I think probably it would have been nice to know from the lady that did it last year. You know, it would have just been nice to have a heads up from her to say, look, you know, you've only got 13, but we're giving it to you this year, because then we would have been more prepared, right? To do something.
But something you can tell her too is, I know for a fact there were a few that could not get that code to work that bought passes.
Yes.
So I have a funny feeling our numbers are higher
13
than
seems
13.
very
Yeah.
low.
It's not 13, I'm
Yeah.
sure it's higher.
Okay.
And also mention how many new members there are.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, our club number was 125 last year.
Yeah, it's what
We have more.
anyhow.
So
So
if we're gonna let the members who didn't join this summer, affecting and feeling who weren't riding because of other reasons this summer,
exactly.
that they can be pulled back into the fold for this year by setting that.
I have a very serious question. Where's the bartender?
Our meeting started.
I don't know. Okay, this is just the last little bit here. So we'll start scheduling the face-to-face. So that's just an aside.
I'll bartend.
So this last point on this slide is I think the most important point, because I've already started talking about how we really are looking for, you know, we just want more, we want to broaden the conversation beyond the board, okay? And so Blaze is calling them subcommittees. I think that's a little scary. I'm a retired person, so a subcommittee makes me think of work. And so I'm calling it a focus group. I'm calling it focus group. Yeah.
I like the
so,
focus
Sandy,
group.
do you want to hit the over button there?
Or
So
the arrow.
what we would like to propose is this, okay? Because we know that for many of you, with lots of other commitments going on, families, travel, other things, that being on the board is asking too much of a commitment, and we get that. We hope that a few of you would be willing, but we get that for the majority. But what we're thinking is, you know, there are many, many things that we that take up a lot of our time on the board that really we're constantly saying to each other, well, I don't know, like, what do you think the members would like, you know? And we end up making a decision and really thinking, is this the right decision for the majority of our members? So what we would like to do this year is propose little kind of, like little focus groups of 2 or 3 members, more, I'm saying 2 or 3, but I like 3 is a nice number, but more if you like, to take some of the feedback from the fall survey, look at the suggestions, okay, look at how things have been set up in the past and try to think ahead a little bit. And in a little group, you know, I mean, you all talk to each other. So if you know, I as a person come on that little focus group, like I also have the voices of, you know, the people that I've been riding with all summer in my head. So we would like to have focus groups to look at the group ride program, and we're asking on that group, we'd like at least one person that's been a group ride leader. Because that's not to say that we don't want just members at large, but I think you do need a group ride leader to be able to say, okay, yeah, you know, this is what happens in the group ride and so on. So 2 or 3 people to have a look at the feedback, and I think Blaze is willing to, you know, coordinate and be part of that discussion. The second lady. The second one is, it's related, but we decided to keep it separate because we think it's kind of a different thing, and that's recruiting and training group ride leaders. And again, we're asking that we think should be only current group ride leaders and co-leads for the moment. Thinking about, okay, if we have someone that's interested in being a group ride leader, you know, what's going to appeal to them, and what can we provide to them in terms of training. So for example, just for those that might not know it, pre-pandemic, you know, that life before, we actually lined up a friend of Sylvie's who is a paramedic but also a cyclist and teaches first aid, and he did a first aid course for us. He did it on a weekend, and I think there were 8 of us, and the club heavily subsidized that for the group ride leaders to take it. We had that lined up for 2020, but you know what happened. So, is that something? And is that something that the sponsorship fund that Joelle's company donated, we could use those funds to subsidize that? So these are all things that could be discussed. And, what group ride leaders might need in the way of support before the season, during the season, and so on. Somewhat a focus group to talk about skills nights. We had lots of suggestions about the skills nights, about time, location, and so on. And as a board, we don't have time to explore all of this. And the thing is, it would be very nice, we know that Times Pasture is not an ideal location for everybody. So it'd be nice to have geographical variety in that focus group, because we need to find a big parking lot or somewhere, a meetup place in the East End, in the South, so a little discussion about what could the skills nights look like if we took into account some of the suggestions from the survey. I talked about Joelle. I think I've only briefly mentioned it to Joelle, but it would be nice if Joelle had a couple of people from the club, just members at large, to talk with her about, what could we do with those funds? What would the possibilities be? This sounds really not so great, but we have bylaws and policies, and you know what? We put them in place in 2020, and we've just kind of updated them but if anybody's interested, maybe you're not, but we do need to keep them updated. We are an organization that needs to have these things updated. It's a requirement.
The bulk of the work is already done.
The bulk of the work is already done. In some cases, it's just changing the date or changing some wording or altering based on, circumstances and so on. And then the last one is, and this came up spontaneously, even though it was not asked about in the survey. It just popped up everywhere. And that's about the jerseys. What do we want to do about the jerseys? And Sylvie is talking about, getting ideas from alternate suppliers. And do we want the jersey to be obligatory? Do we want it to be optional? If it was optional, what would that look like? And so on and so on. So we're looking for 2 or 3 people, just a few hours. And the way we picture it working, and it could work differently if you had different ideas, but the way we kind of pictured it working was that, you would say to someone on the board, okay, I'm willing to, join Joelle and talk about the sponsorship fund. And we would give your name to Joelle, and then you would organize yourselves, get together as required. And then at a certain point, you'd have a contact person on the board, and you'd say to that person, okay, we're ready to make our recommendations to the board. And then it would just involve one of you or all of you meeting with the board and presenting your recommendations for discussion and so on. Okay. The thing is, we start advertising the club probably in January, early February. So the timeline on some of these things is quite short. If we are going to make significant changes, say to the skills nights, for example, that needs to be done over the next 6 to 8 weeks, and we need to sort of, make a decision. So that would involve a focus group getting together, looking at the feedback, thinking about what might be possible, doing a little investigation, coming to the board and saying, okay, here's what we're thinking, and so on and so on, and then, us deciding and probably reporting back to your little focus group and saying, okay, here's how we think we're going to set it up based on your recommendations. So I guess I would say to you, as a member of the club, this is an opportunity. We had such great suggestions, and I got to say to you, on the board, we are asking for renewal because, we are, we've been the same people on the board, and it's not been on purpose. It's been the pandemic. It's been the way things are. But, we're kind of all out of good ideas. So we're looking for good ideas, and we're looking for good ideas that we know could be implemented and would be reasonable.
So Jean, since everybody's here, you know what's going to happen, right? And we've got 15 people online, so you guys can hear me. Hang up, okay? Who would like to work with me on the jerseys? 3 people. Okay, we either redesign it we figure out a new distributor, or we take it out of the membership and we figure out what that's going to look like. Because, you know, a part of that membership goes towards the jerseys. You know, do you want to see something different? So I'm asking 3 people to work with me. If you're here, you guys online are included. I can see what you guys are writing. Hold on here. Nobody's writing anything. Kelly, I can see you. I need 3 people to help me. And then I'm going to ask for 3 people to help me with Monday skills, because I already have ideas for changes of moving it from Monday to Wednesday. So what would that look like? And I have ideas. So for the jersey, 3 people. Online, Kim Hess, which one are you asking for? She's online right now. Any 2 other? Lily. Because like you said, we need to figure that out before Christmas. Because when we start putting out the membership, it's going to say it's going to include a jersey or it's not going to include a jersey. It's going to be a new jersey. It's going to be the same jersey. Because everybody loves this jersey, but we change the jersey every 2 years.
Oh, do we have to, though? That's the question.
Do we have to? Do you want to? Do you want still the same one, or do you want something fancy and new, maybe more, I don't know. Kim Hess, okay. And I need somebody else, one more. I hate to put you guys all on it, and it's Julie? Okay, so now the Monday skills.
Diana.
Diana? Okay. Anyone else? Pam? No? Sophie? Okay. Anyone on here? Oh, Marcia's frozen.
Yeah,
oh, Kelly, hold on. Okay, and so Sophie? Okay, perfect. So Monday nights we're talking about location. I don't have time to be driving east, be driving west, be driving south. I live in Chelsea. I like Astiku. Tunney's Pasture has served us for 14 years. Unfortunately, it's under seriously rotten construction, but otherwise it's been a great location. So looking for new places that we can find big empty parking lots for 30 people to bike around in different groups. We have to think about stuff like that. That's why Tunney's Pasture is massive. Like, it's empty. You might not like it, but it's just a great location.
Yeah, but I think the thing is that, it's really looking at, it doesn't necessarily mean wholesale topsy-turvy change. It's just looking at how can some things need tweaking, right? So, Liz, did you want to say something?
Just that, so for Sylvie, what I'll do is I will provide the raw data, the commentary that people said, the suggestions that were made about skills, the suggestions for the jersey. So you'll have that, so it's just as a starting point. Start there and then generate new ideas to...
So I think for the group ride program and the recruiting and training of group ride leaders, certainly we're looking for members for the group to talk about the group ride program, and if there's a group ride leader who wanted to be part of that conversation or a co-lead, that would be great.
Okay, so Wendy?
I have a couple comments. First of all, I'm going to lead by being a leader. I'll step up to the board. You tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it.
I would say, so Wendy,
you're not until you're finished that job.
The best thing about this board is you don't get any death threats.
I don't get $16,000 a year, but the other thing I was going to say is that, I think it's important for us to nominate at least a key person for each of these categories here tonight. And one of the things I would highly recommend, based on my experience with the board, we have a committee of the whole meeting. So whoever's going to be the core kernel person or the leader of whichever of these different focus groups, host, like we would for a ride, Thursday night at 9 or 7 a.m., we are meeting to talk about this. Here's the Zoom link. Are you coming?
Yeah.
I'm in. We know how to type I'm in. And type I'm in and then show up for this meeting. If this is a topic that, because I know right now people are going, I don't know whether I can commit to that or not. But you'll know on Tuesday night this week whether you can commit to Tuesday night next week, right? And then you can sign up and you can show up for this thing. I think around tonight is that if you at least grab a person who can sit on as the chair of each of these ad hoc committees, then you're allowed.
Well, I know Blaze has said that she would facilitate, which conversation was it, the group ride program or the
Marcia just
recruiting and
signed up
training
too.
GRLs?
Yeah, either or both.
Okay, so, well, Blaze is going to facilitate one of those, and I think for those of you that are group ride leaders, I think what remains, what I would like to do actually is probably do a Zoom with all the group ride leaders, all of you, and offer you a time and then do it, and then Blaze would be part of it, I would be part of it, just a general conversation, and perhaps from that we can get the smaller group for the recruiting and training of group ride leaders. So I think Blaze and I can coordinate a time for the group ride leaders and the co-leads, and we'll just let you know, and we will work from there. But as for the group ride program, that's a different thing, because we would like to have some members that just like members at large be part of that focus group. People that have come out for group rides, whether you did 5 group rides or 20 group rides, but you have some thoughts about the group ride program. Again, Blaze would probably coordinate that one. So if you are interested in that and you're too shy to speak up, then I would say maybe just get in touch with Blaze or talk to her after this. So I guess nobody's rushing to do the revision of the bylaws.
I will have to take care of your bylaws.
Oh, Sophie?
Okay.
Oh, Jose. Okay.
Jose.
Bartender's here, who was asking?
Okay.
I was trying not to disturb you guys.
Oh,
Sorry.
As a member at large, Kate, but I can't take on a task right now, not this year. I'm gonna retire.
No, I know.
But I'm still as a member.
retire like April, kind of?
Okay, well, we'll Suzette and do you want Suzette and Karen are offering to members at large on the board.
Okay, hold on.
Karen and Petty.
Karen,
And Suzette.
Karen, and Petty, and Suzette, and Marcia. Oh, Lorraine said she'd look at the bylaws too.
So Tina said she'd be volunteer coordinator.
Volunteer coordinator? All right. So, Jean, we have Lorraine for bylaws as well, and Marcia for group ride leader with Blaze and you.
Okay. So, we want to wrap up. So thank you so much. So Sylvie's made a note of everybody, and we will remember. We will find you. But I would also say, if you are friends, or a cycling friend, or an indoor cycling
Okay, so
friend,
Sherry?
with someone you don't have time because you've got other commitments, but you are a friend or a cycling friend with someone who has volunteered. I hope that you will have a discussion with them, because we're trying to be really inclusive in terms of what our members want. We're trying to organize ourselves so that it serves the members best. Okay, so really appreciate all the volunteers. And so Sandy, you want to put the last one there? Do you have a comment?
Well,
keep
we
going.
have a presentation.
Oh, that's right. We forgot. Keep going, Sandy, on the slides. I forgot. Okay, no, go back. Go back. We want to go back. Go back one. No, just go back one. No. I want to be Okay, so sorry. We have 3 final presentations. And I don't know whether she's on Facebook. Is Michaela on Facebook?
No, she's not.
Okay. Well, I felt like we should recognize Michaela. As some of you know, and Laura is too. We're going on a cycle trip in Chile in January, and Michaela is beyond excited. So I thought she might sign in because I asked her to. So Michaela is our farthest flung CycleFit chick. For those of you who don't know Michaela, she and her husband moved back to Chile, to Santiago, Chile. And she is For those of you that are doing the winter cycling, she can't wait. She's going to be there in the heat of Santiago, cycling on her balcony. So that's, I want to say hi to Michaela, even if she watches it afterwards. So,
Hey, Michaela.
So another presentation. Blaze has something for our inspiration.
Yes.
You know how difficult it is to find a pink feather boa?
Or a tiara?
Anyway, we wanted to recognize Nicole because, in case you didn't know, Nicole is 80 years old, and she's not shy, and she's proud, which is so
Inspirational.
She did the 100 kilometers. She did her speed. She's had other goals that she set all summer, and she's been so open and great about telling us, this is my goal. I'm working towards it. So. And then one more, Sandy. Thank you, Nicole. So every year we give this Golden Bottle Award. This is started by Jeannie Roper, and we give it to the person that has done the most and varied volunteering. We know that many of you volunteered. Really, I wanted to recognize Marcia because not only, she's been a member of the club for a while, but she has stepped up, and I have to say, I didn't mention this when I gave the gift card for Lorraine, but Lorraine and Marcia for our touring 1 and 2s have been just completely awesome. And what's really great is that when Lorraine went on vacation, Marcia stepped up, and she with Jennifer, and they led the touring 1 and 2 groups. So there's that. And then also Marcia was there at almost all of the Monday Night Skills to help, except when she was off cycling in the wind and Newfoundland. She was there all the time. And so I did want to recognize, so Marcia gets the golden bottle.
You can show her here.
Okay, is Marcia there? Oh, Marcia, I even actually got her name on it this year. And Laura, your name's on there too from last year, finally. Anyway, we are so lucky to have people like Marcia in our club. And then just one more, Sandy, one more slide. That's it. Okay, we have a door prize. Last thing, if you got your red tag,
just put them on.
One question. Does every board member have a red ticket?
No, I dropped mine. Is there one on the floor? No.
Blaze, do you have one?
Oh, well.
Oh, we can grab another one.
She's asking all of you to grab one. Oh, I can grab another one?
yeah, grab it. Now you don't know who you are.
All right, I'm going to show you the prizes. So we got coffee. All right, so this is number one. Everybody loves coffee. We know that.
Okay, we got a whole lot of door prizes here and a membership. So
earrings. Okay, these were made by Fiona last year. You might recognize the jersey. We had a fairly significant amount of extra large men's. Anyway, so she took them and she made little baggies, little bags. Yeah, so we have 2 of those, and and a bag. Everybody's getting into these. So this is what we have for the draw prize. And then we're giving out a free membership for anyone that's in here and online. I don't know if we're going to... I have the names right here. Well, I was going to make sure I got everybody's name who's on those boards across the street.
So I think transpose them because you don't want me to rip it up.
So we'll do that after the door prizes.
So, talk amongst yourselves until I'm ready.
We could do the door prizes. We could do that at the end. So, Jean, you want to start pulling out numbers?
Well, no, but aren't they going to be in there too?
Oh, I guess so. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody talks amongst themselves. So, anybody needs some food?
No. So Sylvie has very generously agreed. We have 9 prizes here, and you can win one of those prizes, but your name will still go back to the pro. Isn't that nice? Okay, you ready?
Okay, so the first one is, I'm going to read the last 3 numbers. Okay, 796. Okay, it's got to be 7. All right. Come on.
Adina? So Adina, pick from here whatever you want. Whatever you want.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you're going to 9. All right.
Okay,
All right, next one. Oh, here, I have to go.
Okay. This is 813. 813. Mara!
All right, the next one. 781.
Someone online?
781. No, their names are.
Somebody must be 781.
I lost my first ticket.
Somebody on the floor?
Okay, Lorraine. She's online. That's why the tickets. Lorraine, I'm going to pick something for you, probably.
You better pick it now.
Yeah.
All right, next one. 782. Okay, so it's like side by side. 782. Okay, we'll just put that one on the side there. Next one. 791. 791. All right, yay!
Karen Popal. She's online too. Karen Popal. I don't know what to pick for Karen. Okay. Maybe I'll pick.
794. Barb S.
Barb Okay. I think she'd probably like this. Barb likes this. Or do you want to take that cake? Are you going to take that cake? There's just these, there's earrings or this. No, take it. Barb, yes.
Oh, you guys still got it. No, you keep it for the extra. Okay.
All right, thank you.
809. We have 2 left. 809. 809. Let's go. All right, last one. All right, this is online. Keisha! Keisha! All right, you get earrings. All right. Now for the free membership. Now we've got.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Let's see if she gets it.
790. Before we really finish up, I have 2 gifts that I want to give out. When I saw these, I totally thought of these 2 people. And Jean and Sandy, come over here.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm afraid what she thought when she saw those things.
They're not depends or something.
Amazing volunteers and help. And like, so, you know, when you talk about volunteering, and I think that really great people need to be recognized. And she's been my vice VP for, I don't know, a while. We've lost track of how long.
I know.
It's just,
Wow.
it's been, yeah, see, you just said depends. That's
That's much better than depends.
Sandy is speaking entirely for herself. I'm so much younger than she is.
Sandy's been there helping with the volunteering and
That's very cute. What is it?
It's bracelets.
Volunteer bracelet.
Nice. Thank you.
And you know, because it's hard being, you know, running a club by yourself, and it's great to have great people who have great leadership skills and like retired principals. How better can I be? Great set of ladies, as well as the other ladies who are on the board, but I think you guys have been the longest.
Pretty much.
Probably.
See, I'm not a bad person to work with. They've been around for a long time. Very reasonable, right?
Anyway, we have a great slide for finishing.
Okay.
Okay. We can read that great quote. Right? And we'll see all of you on only
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Right?
So, yeah.
And thank you so much to those who volunteered. And please, you know, if you didn't volunteer, no problem. You know, you are welcome to come and you're welcome to come and just ride your bike. That's what we're all about. So. Anyway, see you later. Thanks, ladies, for coming. Okay, so the free membership was Dana.
So thanks everyone for joining us online. Super appreciate you guys, and we will send out your prizes to you. Thanks. Here's person. Woo! I don't know if it's offered for you to keep it. Thanks everyone. Really appreciate you guys jumping in online, and see you.